Chapter 2, Between Two Dreams. Ice pellets stung my face like bees as I lay face up, entangled in a bush 3 days before my wedding day. Stunned, I lay there staring up at the gray March sky, assessing the pain in my ankle and calling out for someone to help me. I was just leaving my in-laws' home where we had finalized last-minute wedding plans. A severe ice storm had moved in unexpectedly, and my broken ankle in the slick streets landed me on my soon-to-be wife's couch overnight. Through this experience, I began to get a glimpse of the cost of marriage. I watched my fiancée struggle with my injury, bringing me soup and pillows like my new mother. She particularly struggled at the wedding when I showed up in a cast, not the dream she had for her special day. The greatest challenge came in our honeymoon. She had to push me around Disney World in a wheelchair for a week and do all the driving around town. We were given a handicap access hotel room and had difficulty boarding shuttle buses and getting in and out of crowded areas. We were beginning the dream of marriage with some significant and unexpected challenges. At the end of each day, my wife and I were exhausted. Weariness turned into a lack of patience, which turned into some real fights. Fights in the early years of marriage are different. The rules haven't been set, so we are unaware of just how deeply we can wound each other with our words. There isn't yet the long-term demonstration that neither of us will leave if things get too bad. I was beginning to realize through my own physical pain and the newfound relationship difficulties that my dream was going to come with a cost. How high a cost? I had no idea. I was caught between two dreams. The first was that of easy companionship, of amusement park rides and bouquets, of early morning giggles and lingering kisses. The second wasn't a dream at all. It was a nightmare. It was the nightmare of harsh words and hurt hearts, and the insecurity that comes with not knowing how things will end up. Real dreams usually cost more than we bargain for. This was true of my dream of marriage. All my life I longed for a home of beauty, order, safety, and kindness, primarily because my home growing up did not include those things. For part of my childhood I lived on the streets of Detroit, in abandoned homes, in the back of a van, and the basement floor of a dusty church. My childhood was the casualty of a destructive relationship between my mother and father that was doomed to fail. Throughout my childhood, I often told myself, I'm going to do better in my home. There's no way I'm going to live like this when I get married. Though I had wanted to marry by the time I was 16, I got married much later at 27. Finally, my dream had come true. I was waking up to companionship, friendship, and partnership. Marriage is not a fanciful dream in which all our wants come true. It's hard, soul-cleansing work, but at its best, marriage is a small actualization of a greater dream. What I didn't fully realize in my idealized stupor of newly wedded bliss was that the gift God had given me in my wife, while a costly gift, was a piece of heaven itself. Marriage is a picture of the overarching dream of God. It is the picture we find where the Bible begins and, as we shall see, where it ends. When God wanted to create a being that reflected himself, he created a community, not a person. God lives in relationship with himself, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. And the being God created was a relationship, not an individual. In the opening story of the Bible, God in community created a community that reflected himself. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. Genesis 1:26-27. 3 times this passage explains that God created this being in his image. But it's not a singular person who ends up being the possessor of God's image. Instead, it's a community, Adam and Eve. God's creative work culminates in the word them. This initial creative work gives us an indication of what God has dreamt of since the beginning of time. The original dream of God culminates in a communal world, full and well cared for. The next few verses give us a glimpse of what God's fulfilled dream looks like. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the sky and over every living thing that moves on the earth." Then God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant-yielding seed that is on the surface of all the earth, and every tree which has fruit-yielding seed, it shall be food for you. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the sky, and to everything that moves on the earth which has life, I have given every green plant for food." And it was so. God saw all that he had made, and behold,